Prime Minister Anwar invites Malaysians to celebrate Deepavali with joy and happiness. Former PM Najib ordered to enter defence in latest 1MDB trial. Good evening and salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching Malaysia Tonight with me, Daryl Baptist. Tonight's broadcast begins with a rather happy message from our Prime Minister, Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim, who invites Malaysians, regardless of race and religion, to celebrate the Deepavali festival with joy and happiness throughout the country. In a post on his social media platforms, he emphasized the importance of fostering respect and understanding among diverse cultures.
Hari ini menanda dari sudut sejarahnya dan pengajaran ialah kemenangan dari kezaliman, kegelapan kepada cahaya, kebenaran dan keadilan. Mudah-mudahan kita sambut dengan meriah di kalangan rakyat Malaysia dari berbagai kaum, berbagai agama sama-sama sambut kemeriahan dan kegembiraan. Terima kasih. Nandri.
He expressed his hope that this Deepavali celebration would also be marked by a spirit of fresh and pure awakening of thought, elevating the dignity of the entire nation. Deepavali will be celebrated tomorrow. On more positive notes, the government has agreed to enhance the People's Housing Programme, or PPR, with the implementation of the Residency Rakyat Programme, or PRR, to provide more conducive, affordable housing for the people. According to Housing and Local Government Minister Nga Kor Ming, new PRR projects to be built starting next year would emphasize accessibility, connectivity, sustainability, livability and mobility, complete with public facilities.
Selain itu, penjenamaan semula PRR juga diharap mampu untuk membantu mengurangkan stigma serta persepsi negatif masyarakat ke atas komuniti PPR yang sedia ada dan dapat meningkatkan imej program perumahan di bawah KPKT. So, we will emphasize on connectivity, accessibility, sustainability, mobility and of course, affordability.
Among the improvements introduced in PRR would be community spaces, controlled access at entry points and lifts, the use of solar energy technology, and more conducive housing designs. Elaborating further, Nga said PRR in urban areas would be available for rent, while PRR developments in suburban and rural areas may be considered for ownership. Nga was met after the planning approval handover ceremony for PRR Harmony Madani Bestari Jaya in Putrajaya. With online crimes on the rise, the Madani government will continue to ensure that social media platforms take a firm stance against online crime to create a safer internet for everyone, especially children and families. In a meeting with Meta representatives yesterday, Communications Minister Fahmi Fadil had expressed his concerns about their continuous failure to address issues related to pedophilia and child sexual grooming, particularly on Facebook. He said Meta needs to be much more proactive in combating group accounts on its social media platforms that engage in such sexual criminal activities. According to Fahmi, the discussions also focused on the readiness of all parties for the enforcement of licensing regulations for social media platforms and internet messaging systems, which was slated to take effect on 1st January next year. The licensing will apply to all social media platform providers with at least 8 million registered users. Fahmi said that Meta has also agreed to provide feedback on the draft code of conduct published on 22nd October and will hold further discussions with the MCMC early next week to examine various aspects in more detail. Good news for those travelling in Perak. The West Ipoh Span Expressway, coolly abbreviated as WISE Highway, from Gopeng to Kuala Kangsar in Perak, is expected to reduce traffic congestion at the North-South Expressway by 40%. Minister of Works Dato Seri Alexander Nantalinggi said the project, which costs 6.2 billion ringgit, is expected to be completed by 2028.
Jadi yang diharapkan dengan desain dan sebagainya, WISE ini akan membantu dalam segi keselamatan kenderaan berat dan sebagainya. Tadi telah dijelaskan, ya. Kalau WISE ini tak dibina, ia berkemungkinan masa depan sebab lebuh raya plus ini dah makin sesak sekarang, dia akan mungkin memerlukan kerajaan berbelanja lebih besar untuk pelebaran jalan.
He added the toll rate for WISE will be set at a fixed rate of 23 cent per kilometre for the concession period of 55 years, including 4 years needed for construction works. Dato Seri Alexander was met at the handover ceremony of concession agreement document for WISE project at Menara Kerja Raya. Also present at the ceremony were Deputy Works Minister Dato Seri Ahmad Mazlan and Secretary General of the Ministry of Works Dato Seri Azman Ibrahim. The Kuala Lumpur High Court today ordered Dato Seri Najib Tun Razak to enter his defence on 4 charges of using his position to obtain gratification totalling 2.3 billion ringgit in the One Malaysia Development Berhad or 1MDB funds and 21 money laundering charges involving the same amount. Justice Dato Colin Lawrence Sekira made the ruling after finding that the prosecution had established a prima facie against the former Prime Minister on all the charges at the end of the prosecution's case. Each count of abuse of power is punishable by up to 20 years in jail and a fine up to 5 times the amount of the bribe. Each money laundering count can incur a maximum fine of 5 million ringgit and imprisonment of up to 5 years or both. The High Court fixed 2nd December till 7th November next year to hear the defence's case. The prosecution was led by Deputy Public Prosecutor Kamal Baharin Omar, while Dato Seri Najib was represented by counsel Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi Abdullah, who led the defence team. Dato Seri Najib has been serving a sentence in Kajang Prison since 23rd October 2022, after being convicted in a separate criminal trial over misappropriating 42 million ringgit from SRC International Sendirian Berhad. On the topic of corruption, a marketing executive of a company offered a paddy fertilizer procurement project has been remanded for 4 days starting today to help in investigations into alleged irregularities in the contract award. The remand application was submitted by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, or MACC, at the Putrajaya Magistrates Court this morning and was approved by Magistrate Irza Zulaika Rohanuddin. The male suspect in his 30s was detained to assist in investigations while giving his statement at the MACC headquarters late yesterday evening. Initial investigations revealed that the company has been dormant in Malaysia for the past 8 years. However, its parent company is based in Singapore. The company is said to have received a fertilizer supply contract involving 15,000 tonnes or approximately 60 million ringgit in 2022. The contract award is highly suspicious as it is believed to have been issued by a directive from the highest level of the organisation without board approval. The contract was granted through direct negotiation on the grounds of emergency purchase. Yesterday, MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki confirmed that the MACC had begun investigations into the misappropriation and leakage of the paddy fertilizer supply project by one of the organisations under the ministry involved. The case is being investigated under Sections 16, 18 and 23 of the MACC Act 2009. From one courtroom to another. In Klang, a woman linked to GISB Holdings Sendirian Berhad, also known as GISBH, pleaded not guilty in the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Sessions Court to 10 charges of child exploitation early last month. The accused, Asmat at Asmanira Muhammad Ramli, 44, entered her plea before Judge Zulkarnain Hassan after the charges were read to her. She is accused of trafficking 10 children, all of them 8 years old, for exploitation at the Cahaya Kasih Bestari Care Centre in Kampung Melayu, Subang on 11th September. She is charged under Sections 415 and 417 of the Penal Code and Section 14 of the Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act 2007, which carry penalties of life imprisonment and caning upon conviction. Meanwhile, in the Magistrates' Court, another woman associated with GISBH pleaded not guilty to a charge of being involved in managing an unregistered care centre on 11 September in the North Klang district. Mahani Kasim, 54, entered her plea before Magistrate Amirul Ashraf Abdul Rashid after the charge was read to her. No bail was offered, as the accused is currently detained under SOSMA, and the next case mention was set for 13th December. Allegations about a ban on withdrawing funds from the Employees Provident Fund, or EPF, to perform the Hajj are false and defamatory. Deputy Finance Minister Lim Hui Ying wants swift action to be taken to prevent the spread of the false news from triggering sensitive issues related to the 3R, which are religion, race and royalty. Lim said a police report has been lodged for the authorities to investigate and take necessary action against those responsible for manipulating information to create racial tension. According to Lim, she had clarified in the Dewan Rakyat on 28 October that the EPF Sejahtera account can be accessed by prospective pilgrims under the age of 55, subject to specific conditions. She said the policy introduced in 2013 has remained unchanged regardless of government leadership. And now we move on to some news from the ASEAN region. Indonesia and Thailand have initiated plans to establish an ASEAN Attorney General, or AG, body under the ASEAN Secretariat. It is aimed at addressing key legal issues among member states. This announcement followed a meeting between the AG's officers of both countries during the 14th China-ASEAN Prosecutors General Conference held in Singapore from the 28th to 30th October. Indonesia's Deputy AG for Civil and Administrative Affairs, R. Narendra Jatna, said bilateral meetings were held with the AGs of Singapore and Vietnam, both of whom expressed their desire to enhance cooperation through a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU. All parties collectively committed to upholding the law and combating crime in the regional context, given their significant position as ASEAN members. The 14th China-ASEAN Prosecutors General Conference aims to strengthen cooperation in law enforcement and crime prevention among countries in the ASEAN region and China. Malaysia's role as ASEAN chair and host of UN's World Tourism Day next year offers numerous opportunities for the sector. Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Dato Seri Tiong King Sing urges industry players to leverage on these chances to revitalise the sector. In a statement today, he said Malaysia will also host the ASEAN Tourism Forum early next year. Earlier, Tiong visited the Gulf Cooperation Council, also known as GCC, and attended the World Tourism Day celebration in Georgia, where Malaysia officially received the hosting rights for next year's event. He also invited his foreign counterparts, including Oman's Tourism and Heritage Minister, Bahrain's Finance and Tourism Ministers, Uzbekistan's Tourism and Cultural Heritage Minister, and Georgia's first Deputy Prime Minister to join the festivities in Malaysia. In Georgia, Tiong met with his counterparts from Bahrain and Uzbekistan to discuss ongoing tourism and cultural cooperation. Tiong noted that in tabling Budget 2025, Prime Minister Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim revealed that Malaysia's ASEAN chairmanship would facilitate an ASEAN GCC plus China summit to extend trilateral cooperation. Over 270 meetings and events are expected to take place nationwide, providing valuable revenue opportunities for the country's tourism sector. Turkey expressed its commitment to strengthen ties with ASEAN under the chairmanship of Malaysia next year. Turkey Ambassador to Malaysia, Emir Salim Yüksel, said ASEAN is an important platform to strengthen regional cooperation. Emir Salim noted that Malaysia's role as ASEAN chair will enhance its influence at the heart of Asia. He also highlighted deepening defence cooperation and expanding trade and tourism between the two countries. He also noted Turkey's global role and strategic partnership with Malaysia, emphasizing the enduring and evolving ties between the two nations. He said this during a reception to mark the Republic's 101st anniversary at the Turkish Embassy in Malaysia. Attended by around 600 distinguished guests from the diplomatic corps, government officials and the Turkish diaspora, the celebration featured a vibrant showcase of Turkish culture and cuisine. In our business segment, Perkembangan to study social security protection for Malaysians working in Singapore. Malaysia will conduct a study on a social security insurance scheme for Malaysians working in Singapore, especially those who commute daily to the Republic. It will be spearheaded by Human Resources Ministry, or KASUMA, through the social security organisation Perkembangan. Its Minister, Stephen Sim, said the commitment was made following feedback from the Malaysian diaspora in the city-state requesting some form of social security insurance. It is estimated that more than 1.18 million Malaysians currently work in Singapore, with approximately between 300,000 to 400,000 commuting daily across the causeway. Sim is in Singapore to attend the 28th ASEAN Labour Ministers Meeting, or ALMM, commencing today. Various topics will be discussed, including training, green jobs, social security and migrant workers. On Tuesday, Malaysia had presented a proposal to host the ASEAN Year of Skills next year under Malaysia's ASEAN chairmanship as part of the ministry's all-out efforts on skill training. The ASEAN Year of Skills will include various components such as programs, incentives and collaborations between different institutions. Malaysians must take the opportunity to master digital knowledge as business patterns have transitioned into the digital world. According to Digital Minister Gobind Singh Dio, entrepreneurs need to equip their businesses with the digital economy facilities to expand their market into the global stage.
But today with digital platforms, the market extends far beyond. With digitalization, we have with us markets that are global in nature. All we need to do is capitalize on the way in which we advertise our products, capitalize on what it is the global market requires, and we will succeed and succeed at greater heights.
He said this at the closing ceremony of 2024 Deepavali Carnival at Bukit Jalil's Sports Complex. The 9 Days Carnival is a program organised by Agenda Surya Communications Sendirian Berhad and is expected to attract more than 400,000 visitors to see the preparations made by the Indian community to celebrate Deepavali. More business news. Malaysia is committed to continue the negotiation with European Union regarding Free Trade Agreement or FTA. Investment, Trade and Industry Minister Tengku Dato Seri Zafrul Abdul Aziz said both Malaysia and the EU is scrutinising the next steps to resume the negotiation. In a post on his social media platform, Tengku Dato Seri Zafrul, who held a virtual discussion with EU's Executive Vice President Valdis Dombrovskis, expressed his confidence that Malaysia and EU will work on realising the agreement. He added the agreement will leave a big impact on the country and the bloc. Last year, EU was Malaysia's fourth biggest trading partner, with trade worth 206.79 billion ringgit. In terms of investments, a total of 1,323 projects worth 227.9 million ringgit have been implemented and generate over 150,000 jobs at the same time. Previously, Prime Minister Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim expressed Malaysia's interests in continuing discussions on the FTA with the EU during a bilateral meeting with European Council President Charles Michel, held on the sidelines of the 44th and 45th ASEAN summits in Laos. On another matter, Dato Seri Tengku Zafrul said Malaysia is targeting to acquire $5 trillion in Halal Market by 2030. The minister said the target is based on the country's Halal Market performance, which has shown a tremendous increase.
Memang industri halal ni adalah industri yang berkembang dengan begitu pesat. Kita ada halal industrial master plan juga yang kita sasarkan pada tahun 2030 ini insya-Allah 5 trilion US dollar market share untuk halal lah. Dan pada masa sama negeri Melaka memang banyak menunjukkan prestasi yang baik dari segi industri halal di sini.
He said this at the Halal Development Cooperation Berhad's World Halal Excellence Awards 2023 in Malacca. The minister added that a robust halal ecosystem was critical, as underscored by the progressive measures under Budget 2025. We now move to some news from East Malaysia. Sarawak is now in the best position to be a key player in the carbon capture, utilisation and storage or CCUS industry. Economic Minister Rafizi Ramli said if Malaysia can successfully implement carbon trading within the next 5 years, it will position Malaysia at the forefront and establish Sarawak as a key regional player.
Dan dalam konteks Sarawak ini, perbincangan tadi bertumpu kepada macam mana kita nak mengharmonikan, kerana selepas ini akan ada undang-undang di peringkat negeri dan undang-undang di peringkat persekutuan.
He added Sabah, Sarawak, Terengganu and Pahang have been identified for the implementation CCUS Development Initiative. The minister was met after a discussion with Sarawak Premier Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg and State Cabinet Ministers regarding a proposed bill related to carbon trading. The Carbon Capture, Utilisation and Storage Bill would be presented in Parliament this November. Rafizi said the formulation of decarbonisation laws is aimed at regulating related activities and attracting more investors into the country. Bursa Malaysia Berhad net profit for the third quarter ended 30th September 2024 increased by 41.9% to 85.74 million ringgit. This was driven mainly by the securities market business, which recorded a 47.5% growth in segment profit to 121.8 million ringgit, but overheads also surged, rising 24.5% year-on-year to 33.8 million ringgit. The stock exchange operator announced that the group revenue for the quarter rose to 211.26 million ringgit from 158.71 million ringgit a year earlier. For the 9-month period to 30th September, Bursa Malaysia's net profit grew by 25.1% to 241.22 million ringgit on the back of 30.1% higher revenue of 598.39 million ringgit. On the outlook, the exchange said the current robust derivatives trading volumes are expected to continue as trading activities are influenced by external factors such as the weather patterns that could disrupt crude palm oil supply, the delay of the European Commission deforestation regulation, and the lifting of the Indian refiner purchase limit. In a media statement, Chief Executive Officer Dato Muhammad Umar Swift expressed confidence in achieving all 5 key performance indicators for the year, including an upwardly revised pre-tax profit target set in July 2024. We move now to Europe. The European Union is set to impose extra tariffs of up to 35.3% on Chinese-built electric vehicles. The decision was made by EU after concluding its highest-profile investigation that has divided Europe and prompted retaliation from Beijing. Just over a year after launching its anti-subsidy probe, the European Commission will set out tariffs ranging from 7.8% for Tesla to 35.3% for China's SAHIH, on top of the EU's standard 10% car import duty. The new rates will take effect on 31st October. The Commission, which oversees EU trade policy, has said tariffs are required to counter what it says are unfair subsidies. It says China's spare production capacity of 3 million EVs per year is twice the size of the EU market. Beijing has called the EU tariffs protectionist and damaging to EU-China relations and automotive supply chains, and has launched its own probes this year into imports of EU brandy, dairy and pork products in apparent retaliation. It has also challenged the bloc's provisional measures at the World Trade Organization. German car makers have heavily criticized the EU measures, aware that possible higher Chinese import duties on large-engined gasoline vehicles could hit them the hardest. On a related matter, Europe's biggest car maker, Volkswagen, reported a 64% drop in the third quarter net profit as it struggles with high costs and slowing sales in China. Net profit fell to 1.58 billion euros year-on-year, and the group, which is planning an unprecedented restructuring that could include thousands of job cuts. The German car giant has been hit hard by high manufacturing costs, a stuttering switch to electric vehicles, and increased competition in key market China. Volkswagen said global vehicle deliveries fell by 7% in July to September period, with an increase in sales in North America falling to offset a 15% fall in China. Sales of the group's electric models were down 10%. And that's it from us this evening. In our top story today, Prime Minister Anwar invites Malaysians to celebrate Deepavali with joy and happiness. Do join us again tomorrow afternoon on TV2 and saluran Berita RTM for your daily world updates. And to our fellow Malaysian Hindu devotees, we wish you all a bright and beautiful Diwali. To everybody else, I trust you'll enjoy the festivities, and always remember, please be safe. Till then, I'm Daryl Baptist from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. Good night.